Okay, so gold Moira on Volskaya. Do we have comms this game?
Sorry, my mic's a bit crappy, so I don't talk.
I think we have comms. I can hear something in the background.
Science will reveal.
Okay,
Yo,
so
we got a mic here.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice.
okay, people got mics. We've got comms. Looking
Sorry,
good.
my mic's a bit crappy, so I don't talk too much.
Looking good.
Nah, it's all good.
Spawn up? Okay.
Spawn orb. Spawn orb. I want to see your team comp. Should I go back?
Despair, despair, despair,
Hog that.
despair.
Moira.
I sometimes talk, but I like playing without comms
Right.
sometimes. Well, not talking. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, we do a spawn orb just to get the ult charge. Absolutely fine. We have Ryan Hanzo. Wait, what did we see here? Ryan Hanzo. What's that on the high ground? Baptiste. What the hell is this? Genji?
Is that a torp? It looks like a torp to me.
Come on. Oh yeah, it is a torp. It is a torp. Okay.
There's
And then where's
Roadhog.
our second
Roadhog.
tank?
Roadhog.
Okay. Decent team comp. Decent team comp. We're gonna focus mostly on healing our tanks. That damage orb was a little bit questionable.
Much obliged.
But depending on how aggressive the enemy team is, you might want to save your orb there for a healing orb. Because, well, your healing orbs are just way more effective. They heal 300 instead of the damage orb that does 200 damage. So you get more out of your cooldown if you use it for healing. And they might just bomb rush your Reinhardt there and run him over. So you wanna make sure you keep him alive. Let's see. Do I have 2 volts up? I do have 2 volts up. That was turn down sound, please. Yes. Sorry about that. It was really loud.
I also will say, I said this the other day to somebody. You're looking more at your healing orbs than your damage orbs, but at the same time, there's always you're gonna be using your orbs pretty much off cooldown.
Yes.
So like, there's always gonna be a use for your orb, whether it's gonna be farming your ultimate faster with doing damage or having a large amount of burst healing. But there's always gonna be a use for your orbs. But at the same time, make sure you're not going to need it in the time that it's going to be down.
Yeah, for sure. You can always try and squeeze in those little extra orbs to get that ult charge in between stuff happening. Yeah, okay. Let's actually see what happens. They're a little bit slow to attack, so we've got time. Some pretty good healing juice management. We're hitting them with the healing over time buff by just slightly spraying them, which is good. Don't want to run out of healing too fast. And the healing buff effect actually lasts for like 4 seconds, so...
It hurts to see when people don't know that that's the thing.
Yeah.
From afar.
Looking good so far. Maybe trying to look for right-clicking a little bit just to recharge some of that healing juice. We're slowly running out.
That's the only thing I'd say is, that's why you're going to be sometimes using your healing orb when it's not exactly a burst healing situation.
Yeah.
Because being low on resources is really bad. So you want to always have some, and that's why.
Unfortunate. Yeah, realizing that our Reinhardt charging in is like 99 times out of 100 gonna mean that he takes 1,000,000 damage right here. So we gotta be really quick to react. And since our ball or our orb is on cooldown, we'll probably just pop ult immediately here.
Surrender to my will.
Maybe he even dies 3 ults. Oh wait, we had immortality field. That was unfortunate. That our Baptiste didn't react.
Yeah. It's not all your fault, but it's knowing how you can minimize the amount of fault you're in.
Yeah. This was a very aggressive fade. We tried to go for the pick instead of going for securing our DPS's life. Yeah, it was really hard without our main tank, of course. But,
That's a big shadow.
Yeah, indeed it was. Are they gonna retake?
I must reflect upon this.
I used the orb for ult charge, but I switched to healing orbs at low resource. I was kind of tilted and missed the orb because of mine. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's why you want to try and be a little bit like when you're. They're gonna swap to the game here. Where is Moira? There she is. So during downtime, you had some pretty good healing resource management. Like you were slowly adding the heal buff to your teammates, and it was just really slowly starting to run out. So what you can do in between your heals is just like lightly tap the enemies as much as you can in between. So you had some opportunities where they were actually showing themselves in the choke there, where you could have just lightly tap them with the right click. And there's also another little obscure Moira tech that helps you recharge faster. Is if you spam right click like this, your healing resource recharges way faster than if you just hold right click. So if we're in the middle here, that's the rate it takes to charge it up to full. But if we spam right click instead, that's how fast you recharge it. It's like a full 2 seconds faster or something. It's pretty stupid. I don't really know why that is, but it's pretty important to know, especially if you're a solo healing Moira, because you are going to run out of resource. You want that timing for where you will run out of resources to fit with your ult coming online. So then you can use your ult, you can use your orbs a little bit, and recharge that slowly. Hopefully you can do some damage as well. Kill rate is still the same. No, you do less damage by spamming right click.
It likely works the same way that Sims damage used to work, where you could kind of spam click and you do an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, they
but
changed.
I think it probably just works because a lot of I think the way they've like coded those abilities, where you're kind of building things up based on time or doing damage over time. Some of them have much higher values at the start, I think. So,
yeah, and it has to do with game ticks. Like the game ticks can be faster than the actual like DPS calculation.
You'll be getting more ticks as well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, let's keep going. So we lost point A, unfortunate. Our Reinhardt fed a little bit. Usually you never want to charge out like that as a Reinhardt.
I genuinely tell a lot of my main tanks to unbind their shift key for a week.
Yes, same here. Shift is 9 times out of 10 a bad move. Once again, we see it in action. Oh, that was dangerous. Kill the rest.
Oh, this is a hard stomp.
Ouch.
That's unlucky.
Ouch, ouch,
If I had to give feedback for this round, it would be learning how to tell your Reinhardt to unbind his shift key before the game starts.
Yeah. We've kind of used Fade that has put us in some pretty bad spots so far as well. Like after the Reinhardt died, on the first point we used Fade to try and duel a Junkrat instead of fading like to our we had a Hanzo, we also had a Torb that were still alive on point, ready to maybe go for a retake, but we tried to go for the one-on-one instead of just keeping our DPS alive. And same thing here on point B. As soon as we saw Reinhardt charge in, we faded out, but then we went to the right side when all of our other teammates went left, so we got split, and that did turn out quite bad for us. But usually this is how it ends up in 2CP. If the first team wins the first fight convincingly, they are going to snowball you real hard with ultimates before yours come online.
It's either a full hold or a 5-minute time bank.
Yep.
There's no in between in PCP.
Indeed. So that's why you usually end up in these games where you go like 6-6 or 8-8 or ridiculous scores like that.
Greetings. Despair.
I do not see many 2CP games going 2-1. They always go like high at either high numbers or 1-0.
Yeah. Okay, now we have May Junkrat, Orisa, Hog. And we have a second
Hog
healer
is
in
good.
Ana.
McCree top.
No, wait, yeah, we had a Baptiste before.
Behind.
Wait, McCree is behind? That means we need to kill him.
Injured again.
Still in there. Oh, this is painful. This is really painful. Your team should all be collapsing on the McCree and killing him. He has no way to escape. There's no way out for him.
Get it down here. Let's go.
Oh no. Unfortunate. They want to keep your distance against McCree. Always move backwards if he's going towards you. Stay max range. I had no idea Flashbang reached that far. Yeah, it actually has a pretty big range that you don't really expect. In those situations, like try to tell your team to push real hard on that McCree, because he has no way of escaping. That can be an easy 5 versus 16 fight for you guys.
Another thing, like, mainly to anyone who, like, is in these situations where it's quiet, try and just encourage some discussion. Like, maybe even just ask a question of, like, did they use this, or do they have this? Just
Yeah.
asking anything, even just a single question, because it can encourage maybe someone else to talk, and it can really, you know, give yourself a much better situation. And it can sometimes be the key to getting a team to actually start properly communicating.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes just one person initiating the conversation is enough to get people talkative.
Even the biggest forest fires start with a spark.
That was a nice quote. So we go for the Nano Kamehameha. We're popping off. Nice. Going for the Mercy here. Good. I like that we're playing aggressively, helping with damage when we have the man advantage. We just want to clean them up as fast as possible to get that capture percentage rolling. So one thing to keep in mind, Moira has a really long range on her biotic grasp. Like, as you can see, I can stand all the way over here and still deal the same amount of damage as if I would be standing over here. So maybe try and work around your max range a little bit more. That way you're gonna be safer. You're not gonna be in danger of dying to something random. Maybe a McCree coming around the corner using flashbang and headshotting you. That way you're also gonna have a lot more time to react with fade in case you see someone coming through. So you did play like in the middle of the point, like this, like really close to your enemies. Try to make use of your range a little bit more. But other than that, huge coalescence. Popped off.
Yeah. It was actually, I'm glad to see some aggression, because, you know, sometimes you see so many Moiras where it's like, oh, DPS Moira, get these DPS Moiras out of my game and such, but at the same time, a lot of people are scared to go aggressive.
Yep.
So it's good to see you kind of have a balance, though. Also, we mentioned that there's only ever either big time banks or a full hold.
Oh, we got the second roll.
Round 2, boys.
Round 2. Now we have a Bastion bunker, so now we're gonna see a full hold probably.
I'm interested to see how he uses his orbs and his resources with the Bastion.
Yeah.
Because I actually had a discussion about that today.
Ooh.
Despair,
Exciting.
despair, despair,
Well,
despair.
Sunday actually, so not even yesterday anymore.
Greetings. Hello there.
Oh no, we got a spoiler in
Oh,
chat.
Oh no.
Bastion meets tragic end. Unlucky.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A. Combat protocols initiated.
Ooh, this Junkrat is cocky. So we've got some pretty awful positioning of the bunker. Oh no!
Oh, that is a tragic end.
That is indeed a tragic end. The gold Bastion counter. Big Junkrat and suicide on him. I love it. I love it.
That was genuinely the first time I've ever seen an actual tactical feed.
Oh really? I've seen that happen a lot of times. But people usually like actually mine into the Bastion and don't casually walk up to him.
Flankery.
I like it.
Big nade. Yeah, that was a bit of over-aggression though.
A bit of over-aggression and a little bit of like don't be afraid to tell your team to stack up. Like as soon as you notice that they are splitting up like that, and you are Moira especially, like Moira benefits so much from her teammates being stacked up in one point. So you have the cleave healing or the AoE healing. So it's super important that your teammates are aware. Because sometimes a lot of people, they just tunnel vision and they don't notice that they split off from their team. So sometimes just having that reminder in chat, going like, oh shit, wait, just stack around the Orisa, I'm gonna heal you all, keep you safe.
Going back to the McCree thing, you saw that the Junkrat, so the Bastion was dead to the McCree, so you shouldn't really be taking control to begin with.
Yeah.
Regardless if you can fade out of his flashbang, in general he's just better at dueling than you're going to be in terms of actual damage output. Insert comments about Moira being broken here though. Because I guarantee someone's going to say that in chat in about 10 seconds.
Yeah. Let's see here. So, okay, we're popping the ult real aggressive here. We don't really have any other teammates that can assist with the damage, but Junkrat is doing his best to help.
To be honest, the immortality shield is what saved them there. I actually, it forced a pretty big cooldown, but it's an ultimate for a cooldown. So.
We forced Valk as well. So actually pretty decent. And the Nanod Bastion pops off.
Yes, thank you, Tolino. Thank you.
Moira is terrible, and I wish I'd get less of her OTPs.
Despair has its own calm.
Did you see the guy on Reddit that just posted his Moira unranked to GM climb?
I don't think I want to see that.
he climbed to GM in 6 hours or something.
I mean, if you play a like a ranked Moira, then you'll climb in no time.
I just gotta go very aggressive, go for flanks, and then play her like a tracer, maybe. I don't think you can play her normally like you would in a team if you wanna climb ranked.
Not at all. I mean, in a team, you're probably not going to play her outside of maybe 1 or 2 situations of DPS comps and goats or something.
Oh, gotta watch out for the hook.
I like this positioning. The positioning you had before is just way too risky.
This position is good.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Oh.
Alright, nice orb usage, but it went a bit far. I'd say try and bounce your orbs off walls a bit more. That's a really good coalescence.
Really good fade as well to dodge the tire.
Yeah, that's so sick.
That's a play of the game right there. Big carry from Moira.
That's like the perfect situation to use coalescence because yeah, well, if you think about it, it does damage and healing and it goes through targets. So the more people that line up, the more value you're going to get, even if it's a teammate.
That's why it's also very important when you're playing Moira and you want to use your ultimate aggressively, to tell your teammates to go aggressive as well. Because if you can manage to line that up at the same time as maybe your Reinhardt or something walking forward and swinging, you're going to get that healing and the damage. So much more value than just dealing damage or just healing. Very important.
Yana just co-beat him. I will also say, just a thing you can maybe do to improve your play if your team's talking. You could absolutely
Moira 1v1.
DPS mercy. You can tell your team to play maybe more around like enclosed spaces. because Moira's just going to get a lot more value out of enclosed spaces. You know, she can bounce her orbs around a lot. She can get a lot more value out of her resources.
Yep.
So in general, it's just if you can like really cooperate with your team, trying to get them to play in more enclosed areas when you're playing Moira.
Absolutely correct. And just in general, this comes down to just evasive movement. So you ended up in that 1 versus 1 versus the Mercy, and you had Fade on cooldown. So the only thing that you can do when you have Fading on cooldown and you are locked in a 1 versus 1 against an enemy player is to like use AD strafing. You did that a little bit. I saw one of your duels with the McCree that you did AD strafe a little bit and maybe do one crouch or something. But try to get a little bit better on that and practice it. Like maybe get inside a lobby or maybe a free for all custom game where you just try to survive for as long as possible. It's like doing unpredictable like left and right and crouches and being as annoying as possible. It's very important when you're locked in those 1 versus 1s. So you could probably dueled that Mercy and won with some more evasive maneuvers.
I kind of zoned out. I was typing something to someone, but I don't know if you mentioned like crouch ADing and such, but
Yes.
that's also very, very, very.
That's
very,
exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, just because I heard you saying evasive maneuvers.
Yes, exactly. So AD spam, crouching, and just gotta watch out when you're or who you're crouching against. So against hit scan characters that aim for the head, like Widow, like McCree, crouching is very, very effective. But against like tracking targets like Sombra, Zarya, Tracer, crouching is not as effective, and just doing AD strafes unpredictably is gonna throw off their tracking the most. Keep that in mind as well.
Something I want to bring up as well about that
Yes.
is something that actually I think Show4 set up in one of his videos where he was talking about aiming, and he said basically when you're AD spamming or crouch AD spamming, make it as random as you can without losing track of it, because obviously maybe not necessarily on Mercy, but when you're aiming yourself, it's if you're kind of doing it completely randomly, like losing track of what you're doing yourself, then you can't really aim alongside it. But if you can kind of track what you're doing in your head with your movement, you can then, you know, change your aim in response to that.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of even hit scan players don't really do that. Even at a top level, they won't really take into account the fact that they can also track their own AD movement to get better tracking when they're ADing. And then rather than, you know, their mouse moving all over the place while they're tracking, they can kind of more smoothly counter track their own movement.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you're moving right, you gotta adjust your aim in the opposite direction to keep it on target. So we're working on. It's not as important on Moira since you have the auto lock, so it doesn't really matter if you go off target a little bit. But we change to something like Tracer. If we have our crosshair on the target and we're moving left, if I don't adjust my aim with the mouse, then we're gonna be off target. So every time I move left, I need to move my mouse right, so that we keep the crosshair on the target. So and then when we increase the speed at which we turn left or right, the more I'm gonna need to match that movement. So as you can see here, like I'm actually failing because I'm moving left and right too fast for my mouse hand to keep up. Like I haven't been practicing AD strafing, but if you get good at this, you're gonna be able to be random and move around a lot while still keeping your mouse on the target. Yeah, for Moira, not as important. Yes, general aiming tips for everyone. Okay, so let's keep going. We actually had a really good hold here on A, so this is looking quite good for us. Oh, let's see here. Wait, I actually asked something. Mercy was melee spamming me, so I kind of figured I couldn't do much with AD spamming minus keeping biotic grasp kind of accurate for the self-sustain. Yeah, that's true. When she is close, she is gonna be melee spamming, but Maybe dodging 1 or 2 shots would have helped. Like you did a walk kind of in a straight line backwards away from her, which made her hit like 3 or 4 shots in a row. But anyways. So now our team did not wanna let them take a little bit of space. Let's see, did people feed or did we? Okay, everyone's actually alive. So they're charging, popping roto bolts. Oh, our Ana was positioned badly.
Then McCree's been flanking almost all game.
But we were so close to coalescence as well.
To be fair, I think actually it's a blessing he died there. Because if he uses coalescence, he's probably still gonna get die.
Yeah, probably. But it's better
Although he
than
did end the round. But
saving it for next round.
yeah.
Okay, let's see another attack. It'll be really heartbreaking if we lost this. But I assume we did lose it. 'Cause that's usually what I'm asking for when it comes to VODs. Send me those losses. Okay, so now we have a little bit of a different comp. Zarya, Hanzo, and Moira. Okay, this comp is all over the place and doesn't synergize at all.
So it's Moira Lucio. So it's a very mobile Bunga, I guess.
I guess you can kind of speed the Orisa in, but well, I mean, like Zarya and Orisa don't really work well together. Zarya has nothing really that she can bubble to gain charge or to allow a teammate to be aggressive. Maybe if the Mei decides to go in a little bit more aggressive with and tries to freeze people, could work out.
If I'm gonna force myself to come up with a way that this comp would play, my guess would be bubbles would most likely be used to allow rotations.
Yeah.
So when the Orisa's rotating shield, she can get bubbled to kind of more safely take space. Hanzo focuses on shield. Mei kind of uses walls defensively.
Yeah, you can pretty much like use the wall to zone out their sightlines and rotate to the high ground. Or maybe you should probably rotate just straight to point because Mei and Zarya don't really benefit that much from standing up on the high ground. Neither do Lucio.
I genuinely think that Lucio goes on a Reddit flank with Hanzo here with this comp.
That could actually work. Work.
I genuinely think that's how you play the Lucio here. Because you don't get much with Lucio from just staying with the team, aside from maybe a little bit of extra sustain. But if the Hanzo's gonna probably have to go and take a different sightline anyway. So if you can be a bit faster, a bit more evasive, and have a healer with him, then
yeah, that's definitely a valid point.
I think
and yeah, Kruto in chat also mentioned the Reddit Lucio.
Take my job, dude. Take my job.
I'm okay with that damage roll. Just chilling. Since we lost our Hanzo, we need to wait for him anyway. Now we can take some space now that Hanzo's back. This is actually looking pretty good so far.
He's losing his spam spell.
Yeah.
He's just holding click now. Questionable, but orb use. Giving a free 5 strike. Why was your Orisa on the left though?
Decided she wanted to flank.
See, we're playing this almost like CV.
Oh, that's a dead Rhine. Nice.
That's a very good collapse actually. I'll give him that. Don't coalescence this. Don't coalescence this.
He's gonna do it.
I can see it coming.
He's gonna do it. No, he's not gonna do it. No!
Yep.
I jinxed it.
We saw it coming. I saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah. You just need to farm another one real quick.
I feel like we're actually just watching a live stream and he heard us and he's like, actually I'm gonna do it.
But we have Grab Dragon, so maybe the snowball is still on.
Could have had Grab Dragon Coalescence.
Yeah.
That's what made me salty. That's made me way salty, that shit.
Jojo's in despair, yeah.
Jojo's not the one in despair, dude.
Yokai's the one in despair.
Yeah, that's a good orb.
That's a really good orb. Yeah,
Your May's ending.
we need to save our May.
We need to move though. Right, now we've got the pick on the right side. You have to move.
Oh, I would have
I will
faded to
say.
kill that McCree.
Well,
You
well
gotta go
Jojo, are
aggressive
you
sometimes.
sure you... Yeah,
This coalescence was good. This was a
This
really
was
good
a
coalescence.
coalescence. Really good coalescence. His second point play has always been pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
When he's had the chance to play the game. Oh, slow.
Okay. Okay, dude.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, the Orisa actually went out and died. No. Oh
No,
no.
dude.
Spending
Yeah, so
time
we spent
in
a
the
lot
middle
of
of the fight to say thank you or open the emote window instead of paying attention to where they're coming from. That hurts.
Yikes.
I know.
We're spending a long... This is not necessarily a problem with you, but something you could maybe relay to your team. You're spending a lot of time in the open choke. If you're gonna stay there, you can actually... You may as well just not, like, peek it. But if you're like, you're playing the Lucio to allow you to rotate a bit better, so look to take those rotations a bit more.
Our Orisa went a little bit too aggressive and we went for an aggressive fade as well. But she decided to back off.
Oh, I think that might be the first wrong orb choice of the game.
Yeah.
Because I would have used an orb there, but I wouldn't have used the healing. That's
That
good
was a
damage roll.
really good damage roll though. So close.
Boss fault.
Almost got the mercy.
I like that positioning actually.
Yeah.
This position is really good because, like you just shown, you can fade back. This is not as good positioning anymore.
And now we're screwed. Oh, he had to reload. Yeah, so pretty good Moira mechanics, to be honest. Didn't do the space jump after the fade though there on the last one, but
Yeah,
we've been
that's-
consistently doing that so far, so it's fine.
Big rough.
Unfortunate. Yeah, so what would be the main focus of improvement? I think that was actually some pretty solid Moira play, but I think maybe recognizing threats. You're sometimes a little bit slow at recognizing what is going to deal damage next and where. So if you're gonna take damage, or if maybe your Orisa is gonna take damage, like sometimes it took a while for you to see that was going on. And like the McCree getting close to you, stuff like that. I think that's it's mostly game sense related, because your mechanics are fine, to be honest, when it comes to Moira.
I would probably say, in general, his cooldown usage. Because while I said at the end he'd only really picked the wrong orb once, he was using them at quite weird times. And while I said to use them off cooldown, you need to... It's off cooldown with kind of some restraint. So, like, yes, you can... Like, if you're just approaching a fight and there's no real danger of any damage coming in, then yes, you can use it off cooldown. But if you know, if you're going to be approaching a fight and you're using it to kind of just heal up before the fight, when you can use your resource a bit and you know, save that cooldown for an actual fight situation, then you're going to probably want to be more saving it. So identifying when you're going to need it, and like if you're going to need it in the next few seconds while it's all on cooldown. But also your fade. At times, you know, you're fading in, which you don't really want to be doing. You want to be pushing in with your team and fading out. At the very least, fading in a stationary position. And then also just in general, when you have your fade, using it to get yourself out of pinches, because at times you're taking jewels which you probably shouldn't be taking. So rather than taking that jewel, just fade back to your team.
Indeed, agreed. Yeah, I think just in general, on point B, you had some really good positioning, and we did see some glimpses of good positioning on point A. But try to make use of natural cover some more, just in general. That is gonna allow you to like not get fade forced out randomly, and you're gonna have more options to use fade for what you want. So you don't really wanna have to use fade ever unless it's a decision you make. So like, okay, maybe you have a situation where you can go aggressive, so you fade in, or maybe there's a situation where you need to dodge damage or dodge a big cooldown, so you fade out with your team and stuff like that. So making use of natural cover, standing closer to corners in general, and making it as hard as possible for enemies to actually get close to you, so that they have to overextend to get to you, and then when they have overextended, you just say bye bye, and now they're in a bad spot, and your team can hopefully collapse on that. So sometimes kind of giving away your life for free, or at least putting your life in danger. You didn't die all the times, but you did put it in unnecessary danger.
Yeah, and I'd also just say, like, not necessarily as a drawback on you, but something you could maybe do just to try and win more games and just kind of have more success in ranked in general. Is just to try and control your team a bit. I was talking about Moira being much better in closed spaces. You can tell your team, I get a lot more value in enclosed spaces. Can we maybe play around this fact? Or if you're maybe playing Ana, say, I'm going to be looking for a nade. Can we maybe play around the nade in this fight? Just little things that you can kind of put in to the match, just to kind of give people a better idea of what you're doing, and also kind of maybe even give them something to do themselves. Like say, okay, guys, can we do this fight? Can we maybe grab this, or can we just move to these positions? And in general, just look to kind of lead your team a bit more, and you'll probably have a bit of a better time in ranked, especially when you're playing healers, because like we said with the Ana VOD, you need to find ways other than just killing things to have value, or ways other than killing things to find value, because you're not going to get a 6k on Moira, but you can lead your team into getting a 6k. So rather than because other ranks can kind of rely on just getting kills and stuff to a certain point, but on support, you're looking to more like lead your team and just provide more supporting aspects of your play, like the comms and such.
Yeah, just like you said, calling for people to group up. Like we saw a few situations where you had your Orisa go left, your Zarya go right, and someone else went high ground. Like if you tell them like, oh shit, wait, we're splitting up, Orisa, go with your team, or just something of the sorts, they might just go, oh shit, I didn't notice that, thank you, and then you're suddenly grouped up as 6. You have a much easier team fight, and everything's gonna be fine and dandy. Especially since Moira is a little bit of doesn't have that super hard mechanics to think about either, so you can put some more brain power into thinking more about how should we approach this fight. Like, can we maybe do a rotation? Can we walk together some kind of way to make it easier? Like, what ults do they have? What ults do we have? Should we combo something? Should we make use of something like special? You can just be some kind of reminder for your teammates. Like, oh, the Mei hasn't ulted in like 4 fights, she's probably gonna Blizzard. And just because you say that word before the fight, everybody suddenly remembers that they need to split up and they need to save cooldowns to be ready for the Mei Blizzard, and suddenly a lost team fight is winnable thanks to your few words. So just like Yokai says, carrying in other ways than popping off is definitely viable as a support, especially since you have such a great view of the team fight. Like, you usually see all of your friends or your teammates, you see all of the enemy players, and you can make accurate judgments out of that information. let's see. I'm trying to get more Moira practice to be a bit more solid of a player, but I think that comes with more playtime. Yes, for sure. Like the things we're talking about are some pretty high level stuff that you need to understand the game. You need to understand the other roles. You need to understand how other people want to play
Ooh.
to be able to counter it. So that definitely comes with time. You're not
Where are
gold
you now?
anymore? Nice. Yeah, what are you?
I can definitely see you at least getting to plat with that, if not diamond.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Moira usually plateaus around high plat diamond because people become so good at raw mechanics around that SR. Like people can really click heads, and they're pretty good at just utilizing their cooldowns.
I mean, if you were 2186 when this VOD came out, that's nearly 400, 500 SR climb. As a support, that's impressive as well.
That's really, really good. That's really
That's
good.
seriously good, man. Good job.
End of season games are bad. That's definitely true. Usually, I don't recommend playing the last few days because people are
I mean, it's a
just
new season now.
having
Start of
fun
season
in
one, so-
quotation marks. Yeah. The new season just started yesterday, so now you definitely need to get back to the grind. Do the
I mean-
placements. Maybe you might even get closer to diamond.
I hate to like just completely go against everything you just said, but on the start, I swear the start of season games are worse, or at least
Really?
just as bad.
I
mean-
don't know about that.
From what I've heard, I don't really play much ranked, but
Yeah, that's true. I don't either.